Hi, I'm Brett Larkin, and this is a yin practice that's going to soothe and heal your low back. So many of us have low back tension no matter what our jobs or professions, and this is a quick yin sequence you can do. It's very simple, it's for all levels, so let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is a forward fold, but we're going to do a yin style forward fold. I have these beautiful yoga props from Chatra, and I'm going to be using them throughout the video, but don't worry if you don't have props at home because you can grab some pillows right now, couch cushions, pillows, towels, anything you have. Props are not necessary for this practice, so don't let that hold you back. I'm just going to use them and offer them in case you do have them nearby. So to start, I'm going to come up on this beautiful meditation cushion, and if you have limited range of motion in your forward fold, meaning that it's hard for you to touch your toes, I really suggest sitting up on something like pillows or a couch cushion. Just grab it from the sofa and bring it over here. And if you have pretty good range of motion, you don't have to sit up on anything. Whatever you're sitting up on, if you are sitting up on something, you want to be towards the front. So I'm not on the middle of the meditation cushion. I'm kind of in the forward fourth segment. And then your legs are going to be spread apart wide. So often when we do a traditional forward fold, you know, our feet are flexed and our legs are really straight, emanating right from the hip points. I want you to forget all of that. I want you to have the knees bent. I want you to have the legs floppy and loose. What we're going to do is we're going to inhale. And then we're just going to exhale and fold forward. Now we're going to round a lot. So I want you to dip your chin into the chest. And then I want you to resist that urge to reach for your toes. Instead, I want you to drag your hands back towards your knees. So drag your hands back towards your knees and now back towards your hips. So your hands are almost in line with your hips, or they're somewhere between your hips and your knees. And then just begin to soften. The key here is to really dip the chin into the chest a lot. And you're just rounding forward. Legs are soft, knees are bent. Legs can be wider than you would normally have them in a forward fold. If you chose to play music with this class, there's a link below this video. And yin, you know, we hold the postures for a long amount of time. So we're going to be here for a while, so get comfortable. Dissipate any tension in the legs. Toes are soft, knees are soft. And then just imagine your head is so incredibly heavy, like a bowling ball. The chin is deep in the chest. So really draw the chin in towards the collarbones more than you think you can. This is going to let you get a stretch along the whole spine. So your spine is rounded here. The spine is super round. It's as if you're just a rag doll. So there's no energy, no tension anywhere except maybe the chin drawing into the collarbones. Relax your jaw. Let the back of your hands on the mat be heavy. Again, make sure that they're back, at least in line with the knees, if not more in between the knees and the hips. This is going to allow your shoulder blades to just roll to the left and right instead of creeping up by the ears. So yin yoga can really test our patience. So notice if you're already anxious or thinking you're not feeling enough of a stretch, just stay here. And let the pose do its work on you. You are letting the pose and the yoga be done to you here. Your only job is to relax and soften and stay.
In yin, the magic happens when we just stay put and wait. Let the head get a little bit heavier. Yin yoga takes time to do its magic, so don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on the pose. Stay here. And just feel everything heavy. What we're looking for is a stretch along the low back, or maybe the upper back. It's going to depend where you're tight. We're just resting and stretching the whole back line of the body, the whole spine. And this is so necessary because even if we have a regular yoga practice, there's so much heart opening and intenseness to so many of the poses that the low back gets compressed, especially in back bending. Our traditional yoga classes just don't allow enough time for letting the spine move in the opposite direction. So we're able to cultivate that here. The goal here is not to touch our feet. Our goal is not to go anywhere. Our only goal is to be hunched over, lifeless, like a rag doll, letting the low back stretch out. And if you move forward a little more, because of a natural opening in the low back, that's fine, but no reaching, no striving. Now you can experiment with moving your torso just a micro inch, smallest, subtlest of movements to the left. So head still really dips into the chest actively. And you're just a little bit to the left, maybe a little bit more over the left leg. It is a micro centimeter, an inch. So if you've done a huge twist or you're now kind of over the floor on the outside of your leg, that's too far. Just really small, micro inch off center. Get heavy here. Feel your sits bones rooting into the mat. Maybe accessing here the right side of the low back a little bit more. Nice, and now really gently take it over back to center and then just a micro inch over the right leg. Or maybe not even over the right leg, just towards the right. Keep your eyes closed as much as you can. Now waiting for something to maybe open in the left side of the low back. It can be very subtle. It doesn't mean it's not valuable. If you notice the shoulders creeping up by the ears, just draw them back. Drag the backs of your hands along the floor, closer to your hips. And just staying rounded. Nice, take it back to center. the head get a little heavier. Maybe you droop forward a little bit more. If you don't, that's fine too. Deep breath in. Slow exhale out. Just trying to make the inhales and the exhales equal length as much as you can. Eyes closed as much as you can. Nice. Now turn your palms over. So your palms are on the ground and really slowly press into the mat to begin to start to slowly roll up, stacking your vertebrae one on top of the other. Be really slow and mindful here. So you're using your hands to help you as you stack up. Nice. Your neck should feel pretty different. Maybe look left and right. And then, similar variation, you're going to bring the soles of your feet to touch, but you're going to keep them very wide. So you might be used to doing butterfly pose, which is where the heels are really in tight to the groin. We're not going to do that. We're going to take the heels at least 2.5 to 3 feet in front of us, and then we're just going to roll down again. This time, we're going to place our elbows on the inside of the diamond that our legs are creating. Or you can take your hands gently to the feet if they naturally want to rest there. But again, the idea is that we're not doing anything active. We're not reaching for the feet. I suggest palms up inside the diamond of your legs and just fold forward. Notice if you're tightening your sitting bones or low back. So really release. You might be holding in the low back and not even realizing it. And then when I'm here, I kind of like to sway side to side. So I'm going to really slowly kind of sway to the left. And then I'm going to really slowly kind of sway to the right. If you do this fast, you're going to lose what this posture is really about. You want to do everything really slowly, as if you're moving in slow motion. So here I'm leaning to the right. My neck is completely loose. My left elbow is kind of naturally lifted. And I'm feeling the left sitting bone pressing into the mat as I just let my head be this heavy bowling ball. My spine is completely round. Nice, and I'll take it to the left again. This time the right elbow kind of naturally is going to lift. I'm actively relaxing the low back, relaxing the sits bones. Staying here when it's uncomfortable can be way more challenging than the most difficult power yoga class you've ever been to. So keep that in mind. Empathize with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Take a lot of deep breaths. Let what wants to open, open and release. Nice. Come back to center. And then once again, turn your palms onto the mat and press yourself up really slowly. Maybe walk the hands back towards you as you continue to press yourself up to a seat. Nice. Take your hands to the outside of your knees and use your hands to bring your knees together so your low back does no work. With the soles of the feet on the mat, you're going to scooch forward. So let your seat come forward. And then you're going to lie back down. We're going to come into some reclined twists. So lie down. No props needed for this one. Press the soles of your feet into the mat and lift your low back and take it just an inch or two over to the right. So not very much, just a little bit. And then depending on where you are, your arms are in cactus arms or goalpost arms. You're just going to let your legs either fall to the left or you're going to double wrap the legs. So take the right leg over the left. Yep. And just let it fall to the ground. Double wrapping the legs for me gets more into the low back. But play with both variations and see where you want to be. And the secret here is to forget that you're in a twist. So that might sound strange, but if you have the legs double wrapped, I want you to loosen the wrap a little bit. I want you to imagine the bones of your body were found in the shape of this twist. So let go of the sensation like, oh, I'm twisting, this feels so good. And just focus on everything settling down into the mat. All the bones getting heavy. Maybe moving the feet a little bit farther away from you, loosening the cross of the legs if they're crossed. Closing the eyes. So it's more about just sinking down than it is about actively twisting. Make your breath as full as you can. Maybe a few deep breaths out the mouth if it feels good.
Nice, and now staying in the twist, let the double wrapping of the legs go. Just let them go. And then let the legs go straight, so you're coming back to just lying flat on your back. That's the easiest way to get out of the twist without hurting the low back. Now take the soles of the feet to the mat once again. Press through the soles of the feet and lift the hips and take them gently 2 or 3 inches to the left. This time, if you're double wrapping, the left leg is going to come on top of the right, and you're going to let the knees fall to the right. No need to double wrap the legs if you don't want to. Goalpost arms, and then just give yourself permission to sink in. So if the ankles are tightly crossed, let them uncross a little bit. If the knees are tightly crossed, let them uncross a little bit. Remember here, it's less about the twist and more about you just sinking down into the earth, bones heavy, thoughts heavy. Relax your jaw, relax the space behind your eyes, relax the soles of your feet. Notice if your shoulders are tense or if your elbows don't come all the way down to the ground. If they don't, you can always just rest the arms alongside you. Right? This is about the low back, so always feel free to move the arms in a way that best supports you. Maybe just taking the arms out of the twist if that's appropriate for your body. In this practice today, it's always different day to day. Bones heavy. Notice there's tension in the soles of the feet, tops of the feet, ankles. Make sure to unwind a little bit. Nice, and now really gently again. Just let the legs uncross, staying in the twist. Just let the legs get long. And let yourself just kind of fall back to lying on your back. And then take the soles of the feet to the mat. Lift the hips. Lengthen the tailbone towards the heels so the pelvis is back in center. Nice. And then you're just going to hug the knees into the chest. And maybe just rock and roll on the spine a few times, only if it feels good, to come to sitting. So for our last pose, I am going to use some props. So first you're going to want to have just a blanket. If you're doing yoga on carpeting, then you're already set. But you want something soft underneath your knees. So just a blanket the long way that's perpendicular to your mat. And this is so you can have a really nice wide child's pose and your knees can be on something soft. Now don't worry if you don't have blocks, because you can just do normal child's pose. But if you do have a block and props, this is the setup. You have one bolster here, and you have the second bolster, and it's going to be on the block. And then you're going to adjust. So for example, I'm already going to adjust a lot right now, because you want to lay your torso on the second bolster that's on the above bolster. So maybe I don't even need the block. We'll see. Yeah, so the ideal position you want to be in, and if you don't have props, just end with a very wide-legged, so knees wider than the mat, child's pose. If you do have the props, you're just going to fold forward. And you can make your own version of this with pillows and other props you might have in your house.
It's really important that the knees are super wide, wider than the mat, that your knees are on something comfortable and soft. And then basically your torso is just rested on top of the second bolster or second pillow. You're going to take some deep breaths into the low back and just relax. Like all yin poses, the magic of this one is that it comes to us slowly. But if you can stay here a while, your low back is going to open and receive so many benefits. And once again, the hands are not reaching forward like this. They are palms face up with elbows close into the groin or close by the knees. And I'm actually going to move my bolster in a little bit more so I can really be fully over it. I maybe don't even need the block. Yeah. So always feel free in yin poses to readjust because you're going to be there a long time. So it's worth setting it up and getting it exactly the way you want. Let your body get heavy into the bolster. Even heavier. Maybe take your cheek to the other side. So if you had your left cheek on the bolster, switch to your right cheek. And let the shoulders fall open. So if you have the bolsters, stay here for really as long as you possibly can, as much as time allows. And if you're in normal child's pose, that's fine too. Stay as long as you like. This is where I'm going to leave you. Whenever you do get out of this pose, remember to turn the palms face down like we've done all class and to push yourself up, to not lift up, but hang out here for really as long as you can. Breathing into the low back as you go.
Thank you so much for practicing yoga with me. I hope your low back feels a little bit different, a little bit more open. Remember to like this video if you enjoyed it, share it, comment below, let me know if you found this enjoyable, and subscribe to my channel. From my heart to yours, always, namaste. I want to thank Yoloha Yoga Mats for this beautiful cork yoga mat. You can see a full review of the yoga mat here. I want to thank Chatra as well for the most beautiful yoga props I've ever seen. Why have normal yoga props when you can have these beautiful handmade designs from India that look so beautiful in your home, on your sofa? Huge gratitude, and reviews and links here as well. Thank you again.